Hello, welcome. Today we are going to be looking at semiconductors and insulators. We already know that materials that allow the movement of electrons are known as conductors. The ones that don't allow the movement of electrons or electricity, they are known as insulators. The materials that have characters or properties that is between good conductors and insulators, that is materials that behave in between, they are known as semiconductors. Now these semiconductors are very useful in the production of electrical components like the ones you use in your hands, your transistors that you use in your computers and all whatnot. Why are they very useful in electrical components? Because they can easily be doped, be made to have more holes or more electrons, so that their conductivity can be increased, so that they will start behaving like a normal zeros and ones, which is the normal technique that computers and electricity use in its functioning. So now we look at one type of doping known as N-type semiconductors. We have N-type and we have P-type semiconductors. So number one, we are going to be looking at N-type semiconductors. This very N-type semiconductors is obtained by adding arsenic impurity into a pure semiconductor, because of the fact that arsenic has 5 electrons in the outermost shell. More electrons than holes are freed, thus causing a large increase in conductivity. A semiconductor with surplus free electrons, which fit properly into the crystal structure, forms an N-type semiconductor. Another type of impurity that is used is antimony. Now we look at the P-type semiconductor. A P-type semiconductor is one with surplus holes than free electrons. It is formed by adding a trivalent impurity such as indium. So indium causes P-type, whereas antimony causes N-type. So P-type is when there is more holes, whereas N-type is when there is more electrons. Now we look at the uses of semiconductors and diodes in rectification and transistors in amplification. Junction diode as a rectifier. Based on the level of current, when the P material is negative in potential relative to the N material, the junction diode can be used to convert an AC to DC. So rectification simply means conversion of alternating current to direct current. Diode valve as rectifier. When an AC supply is connected to the anode, an anode current is observed to flow when the current is in the positive half cycle, and none when the current is in the negative half cycle. As a result of this, a half-wave rectification current is obtained in the circuit as shown on a cathode ray oscilloscope screen. So that is diode valve rectifier. Now, what are the applications of these? It is used in charging batteries. It is also used in providing required direct voltage for components like the TVs and the mains and radio receivers, the TV mains and radio receivers. Now, we are going to look at the extrinsic and intrinsic semiconductor. An extrinsic semiconductor is that has been doped, that is, into which a doping agent has been introduced, giving it different electrical properties than the intrinsic, which is a pure semiconductor. Doping involves adding dopant atoms to an intrinsic semiconductor, which changes the electron and hole carrier concentrations of the semiconductor at thermal equilibrium. Dominant carrier concentration in an intrinsic semiconductor classify it as either an N-type or P-type semiconductor. The electrical properties of intrinsic semiconductors make them essential components of many electronic devices. Now, an intrinsic semiconductor, also called an undoped semiconductor or I-type semiconductor, is a pure semiconductor without any significant dopant species present. The number of charge carriers is therefore determined by the properties of the material itself instead of the amount of impurities. In intrinsic semiconductors, the number of excited electrons and the number of holes are equal, N equal to P. The electrical conductivity of intrinsic semiconductors can be due to crystallographic effects or electron excitation. In an intrinsic semiconductor, the number of electrons in the conduction band is equal to the number of holes in the valence band. So that is actually what we are supposed to know in this. In subsequent classes, we are going to go deeper. Please, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. If you want to contact us for help or to help us, hit the description part of the video. Thank you and God bless you.